So probably the greatest thing that somebody misses when they think about a wildland fire like the Waldo Canyon Fire is what post-fire problems have on the community. Mainly in our case, it was the flooding. The flooding was awe-inspiring to us. It wasn't something that we could have prepared for or been thoughtful of because of the nature of the amounts of water and sediment that came off of the hillsides. The debris flows were tremendous, and they came down canyons that they've never come down in the past.
It started around 6 o'clock at night, and by 10 o'clock, when the rains had subsided, I took a tour of the town and just saw so much devastation, so much damage. And I remember thinking, how are we ever going to recover from this? It didn't last long, though, because right away, the next day, hundreds of volunteers from all over the Front Range of Colorado, Colorado Springs, Pueblo, Denver, and everywhere in between showed up with shovels and buckets, often in flip-flops and t-shirts, here to help us. So it was such a range of emotions. I felt so despondent and somewhat hopeless on the night of August 9th. And by the next morning, when I saw all the support and help we were getting from people, I can't tell you, it was probably the most humbling experience of my life. Having all those people show up, not invited, not scheduled, just coming out of a love for Manitou Springs. And that will stick with me forever.
We saw Manitou Springs really rise to the occasion, neighbors helping neighbors, friends supporting friends, and the leadership of the local government was astounding, dealing with your own tragedy, your own trauma, and leading at the same time. Our team was so impressed and humbled to be able to invest federal and state dollars to help your staffing, your capacity, your planning, your infrastructure, so you could recover.
The city of Manitou Springs is still recovering from the 2013 floods. The city planning department in particular oversees the improvements to structures that have been damaged by the 2013 floods, in addition to reviewing new development and how new development can improve that infrastructure as well. The city has done a lot for hazard preparedness and mitigation by planning its infrastructure, but there's still a lot that can be done, and that includes being prepared as a resident. As a resident, you can stay up to date on your flood insurance, pay attention to alerts, and be ready to evacuate at a moment's notice.
10 years ago, Manitou Springs faced a very severe disaster, and the scars of that disaster still linger. When we look back a decade ago, we should remember the devastation that occurred, the loss of property, and even the loss of a life, that of John Collins, who perished in the floodwaters. We must remember the violence of those floods, the damage that it did to cars and homes and businesses. It demolished and otherwise damaged a lot of property. We've taken many steps since then to make ourselves more resilient against floods. This flood channel in Williams Creek is part of that. But we still want to stay vigilant and ready to face any challenge. We want to be prepared for all disasters and emergencies. Thank you.